Welcome to The Practical Path, a podcast for personal and spiritual growth. This is step number 15 along the path. I'm Bill Skolodowski.
I'm Vicki Wagner. You recharge your phone every night. Remember to recharge yourself.
Also, remembering to embrace with gratitude the blessings of your life. Now, let's get started on the path for today. Hello, welcome aboard. This is the Practical Path Podcast, a podcast for personal and spiritual growth. And this, as we like to say, is step number 15. So welcome, and thank you for joining us. And as always, if this is your first visit or your 15th visit, it doesn't matter. Please feel free to give us that 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. A lot of people listen to us on Apple and Spotify and on the website, the Podcast Playground website. Wherever you do that, we love you. And please feel free to stop by, give it a review and all of that. So I'm here, Bill Skolodowski, along with my friend and coach and guru and everything else, Vicki Wagner. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm great.
I have had a crazy 48 hours. And as we record this, we record this on a Tuesday and it comes out on a Thursday. So it's not important, but by the time, if you're hearing this, it will be 48 hours old. So it doesn't, that's not important, but several big stories or whatever. I was a reporter, so everything's a story to me, have come up in life. And I do want to share some of them with us and our audience and you and unpack some ideas for dealing with things as they come up in life. But first, I did want to check in with you and see how things are going. We were both, before we started recording, talking about really boring stuff like weather and stuff like that. So how's life up in the mountains of northeast Georgia?
Oh, they're good.
Uh-huh.
Good. It's a little slow, a little quiet, a little colder, but it's good.
Is it
I woke
fall
this morning.
right?
That's a
Is
good
it
thing.
like fall season? Are leaves
Oh, yeah.
changing, or did I miss that?
No, fall is here. It's been a little slow this year. The
Right.
colors haven't quite popped yet, but it's maybe this cold spell we're having, which is going to turn into a warm spell this afternoon. It's going to go up to almost 80 this afternoon.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been a little different fall this year. It's not quite as colorful as it has been in the past. So fingers crossed it'll hopefully pop.
That's big for the tourism business where
Oh,
you at, right?
it's been bumper to bumper. Yeah, that's a lot of fun trying to go into town to grocery shop and you got like 60,000 cars in front of you.
Normally, yeah. Normally when I lived in the big city, like when I lived in Clearwater or even Sarasota, I would say, all right, well, it's, winter traffic. It's like busy because for those who are listening and don't know about living in a tourist area like Florida, like where you're at in the mountains of Georgia, things like that.
Yeah.
It comes and goes. I mean, it's like there are times, and there used to be when I lived in Sarasota, Florida, there used to be times in the summer where it was like you could, cross the street with your eyes closed and you were safe. That's changed a lot. Sarasota is so busy now that it's kind of crowded all the time. It just it goes from bad to worse in the winter. And I know same for you where you're at. And yours is a little different in that when is your tourist season up there? Now? Fall season?
Recently, all year round.
Yeah, see?
It is busy all year round.
Why aren't these people at working at an office somewhere in a big city where they're miserable?
Well, aren't we in the best of moods today?
I just wait.
I know. Florida, yeah.
Anyway, the tourism traffic thing. I consider myself lucky here I'm in Gainesville, home of the Gators. Yay! We actually won this weekend, so it's a good week here in Gainesville.
Great.
Yeah, not so much tourism here, but a lot, of course, on the weekends, a lot of, parents coming to visit the kids going to school and that sort of a thing. So we don't have like beach tourism traffic or like you with mountain tourism traffic. But again, it's Florida, and it's just, you got to learn to live with it. Anyway, I don't know why I went off on that. I just kind of did. So wherever you live in the world, we appreciate it. And thank you for listening to the show today. So
Absolutely. Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you. I have talked about a guy, an author, and I think he still has his podcast. A guy by the name of Michael O'Neill, or Michael Neal, not O'Neill. That's Shaquille O'Neal. Michael Neal, who wrote several self-help books back in the 90s. I think they might not be that old, but anyway. And so I'm rereading one of his self-help books on how you can get the things that you want in life by not overdoing it. Like, I think we're kind of, well, I don't know. In my day, oh God, we're going to do the when I was younger stories.
Oh boy.
When I was younger, there was a lot of emphasis on just, nose to the grindstone, work your butt off for years and years so that you can enjoy later life. And people did that. I don't know that there's still that work ethic is still out there as much, but I'm not in the working life anymore. Anyway, O'Neill wrote a book on it's called How to Get What You Want, I think. I believe that's what it's called. And it's all about finding the calmer, gentler, easier path to get the things that you want in life. And that about, and we've talked a lot about motivation and all of that sort of thing.
Right. Yeah.
And last week, you and I had a little discussion about how he write the list and what do you want? What things on that list make you go, wow.
Yeah.
That's your stuff. That's, there's your clue. He's been, the things I've been reading this week are focusing, now that you have that list, about reducing the noise and the clutter in your life and in your head about, all right, now that you know what you're thinking or wanting, all right, now how do we work on making that a thing? How do we work on getting that? And I think, and finally, after 7 minutes, I'm ready to start talking a little bit about show ideas. And that is, I think nowadays, so many people don't really know what they want.
Yeah.
How does that sound to you? I mean, you talk obviously to clients and people in your business and help them with that sort of thing. But for me, it's like, if you were to ask, okay, Bill, what do you want in life? Well, yeah. And then you have that brain freeze where you go, all the things that I think I want, or that I've been told that I want by people trying to sell me something, a new house, a new car, a great vacation, whatever. Okay, that's nice. Is that, the vacation ends in 2 weeks, the car gets old in a year, what do you really want? What do you really want? Hey, it's Bill, stepping out of the studio for a quick second. On the podcast, one of the things we talk about a lot is motivation, the desire to get things done in life. It might be physical stuff, losing a few pounds, getting a better job, finding a great relationship. Or it might be more of what I like to call internal things, finding ways to feel better about yourself or life in general. Well, to help our listeners along that particular path, we've prepared a helpful, simple guide for personal motivation. It's called Flipping the Switch: How to Create Motivation at a Moment's Notice. I'd like to send you a free copy, along with some other special bonus goodies. Bonus, you say? Well, yes, kind of an unadvertised in-store special. What is it? Well, you'll just have to find out for yourself. So, do this. Head over to the website, www.thepracticalpathpodcast.com. Yep, the same name as the podcast itself. Put in your email and we'll immediately send you to the free download. We'll also let you know about upcoming podcast episodes and other behind-the-scenes information. Again, just head over to the website, www.thepracticalpathpodcast.com, and get your free guide to boosting your personal motivation. I'm sure you'll find it helpful and, dare I say, practical. Now, back to the show. How do you help people with that? I mean, do you help people with that? Is that, am I?
Yeah, because a lot of people do things because they think that they have to.
Right.
versus wanting to. And that's a big difference. And so I've helped people to kind of pinpoint what makes them happy and
Hmm.
why are they doing what they're doing and looking at it from a different perspective. Are they doing it because they got to, put food on the table, they got to take care of their family, whatever it is. So feeling this obligation, I got to do this because I have to. And
Hmm.
that's hard, and
Hmm.
it can wear you down. So, asking people, well, what's your passion? What lights up your life? What makes you, want to get up in the morning? And really go into your heart. I feel like a lot of people are in their heads versus
Yes.
being in their heart.
Yes.
And that's a big difference because when you're in your head, it's like, okay, I've got to do this, this, and this because I've got these responsibilities. I've got to, do this, and I've got all these people I got to take care of, blah, blah, blah. Versus this is my passion, this is my joy, which comes from your heart. And I did that for a long time. I did what I thought I had to do to, put food on the table, so to speak. And
Right.
and Rick was the same way, my husband was the same way. And at some point you go, this really is wearing me out and I'm not happy and I'm miserable and I'm affecting everybody around me. So one day I just quit and said, I'm not doing what I think that I'm supposed to do. I'm going to do what I feel passionate about. And that's how I got into really focusing on spirituality and, helping people, see themselves from that different perspective, doing the oracle cards, because that's my
Hmm.
love, that's my passion. So I feel that sometimes you just got to step back and go, is this worth it? Am I just
Right.
every day waking up, going to work, coming home, going to bed? Okay, doing the same thing over and over again.
Rinse and repeat.
Rinse and
Now,
repeat.
if yeah, rinse and repeat. I hear that, and I can also hear our audience or some people saying, "That's great for you guys, wonderful, but I really do have responsibilities. I really do need to pay the mortgage and put food on the table for two, hungry teenagers or whatever, whatever, and a
Right.
dog and a cat and a house and a
Yeah.
husband or a wife or a whatever." So
Yeah.
good for you, but some of us really have to do the nose to grindstone thing just to keep your head above water, to mix metaphors.
True.
So I don't know. Words of
Well,
wisdom there or words of advice there?
the other thing is that okay, that's what you have to do. Yet you can also, make plans for yourself to do things that make you happy. Take time out during the week somewhere along the line to say, maybe you like to paint, maybe you like to take walks, maybe you just, want to just sit in the bathtub and just soak for 3 hours. Making time for yourself and
Right,
knowing that you're not the only one that can do these, things of, making everything work so, everybody else is happy. People have to make their own happiness too. So making
right,
your slave self a slave to your family or, to thinking, that you're the only one that can, be the breadwinner, you know, talk about it. You got to talk about things. If there's a way
right,
that maybe, working it out that, the spouse in some way has a, career or a job that they do to maybe take some of the load off so that you can maybe take a day off and, you know, play, do nothing, go to the park.
right,
You have to have me time. And I think a lot of people think that's a selfish thing, but it really isn't. It's one of the greatest things you can do is say, I'm taking time for me. I'm recharging myself. And I tell clients, I said, you're so faithful of charging up your cell phone every night. God forbid, we, don't charge up our phone. Have you ever thought about recharging yourself?
right, right. I
It's the world's still going to go around if you take an hour or two to, to whatever you want to do to recharge yourself.
right. And I guess that's where I was getting a little bit lost with, not lost, but distracted by, is that you for me, when I thought about the things that we had talked about in terms of taking care of yourself and all of that, it's
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm gonna quit my job and go hike the mountains for 2 years. No, that's not, I mean, if you can
Yeah,
do it,
yeah,
cool. If you
yeah,
can do it, that's
yeah.
cool. But for most of us with lives and families and jobs and mortgages and car payments, not
Mhm.
so much.
Right.
So I I feel like your suggestion is a good one, and that is, yes, you're still finding ways to take care of yourself, but they're in the moments where you can fit them in, and
Yeah.
also being mindful to create some of that time to fit
Oh, yeah,
things in for yourself, right?
definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely. Because it's going to be a lot cheaper if you do that than if you stress yourself out to the point that you end up in the hospital.
right,
And
right.
believe me, I've been at that edge more than one time.
With
So
stress,
with stress, with pressure, with demands,
right,
and feeling that I have to do this,
right,
well, share it, and if you take a little time off to just be with yourself, guess what? It'll still be there. So when you get back, you can jump in and do it.
right.
But it took me a long time to think that I had that right to just say, you know what, today I'm just going to take a couple hours and go for a drive or take a walk, or I'm just going to, check out for a while. And I've got a phone. You can
Mm-hmm.
always find me. But this is what I got to do so I can be a better person. I can be charged up and, jump back in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think a
Yeah.
lot of people feel guilty about taking time for themselves.
Yes.
And
I
that's a big no-no.
yes, that's going to have a bearing on something that's coming up later in the show. But yes, there is a lot of guilt or whatever self, not being cool with yourself to say, "Oh, the world needs me." Well, not 24/7. Not all the time.
And you can't. You
Right.
can't be there. I mean, you're not a machine.
Right.
We're human beings. And I think some people tend to forget that they really do need to love and respect and honor themselves by saying, you know what, for an hour, I'm checking out.
Right.
The world's going to still be there, I think.
And
After that
if it's
hour, I'm
not,
hoping.
and if it's not, there's nothing I can do about it anyway. Right.
Yeah.
And one of the best ways I've heard that expressed is to keep in mind that we are human beings and not human doings.
Yes, that's a good one.
That we
Yeah.
are what we are is who we are without the thing that we do, without the thing that we do that makes us what we believe we are. Right? Yeah, that's a long way of saying, if you're a football quarterback and your whole life is based around that, well, what do you do the other 6 days of the week? Yes, I know you're practicing. Don't quibble with me. But when you're not playing in the big football game, when you're not the superstar quarterback on a Sunday in a football game, you got 6 more days to be you, to be a human being, not
Yes.
doing the job of whatever. I just picked that one out of the thin air because my football team lost last weekend and I'm kind of bummed about it, but it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
I'm
You
fine.
survived? You
I'm
did?
fine. Damn it.
Okay.
I'm fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of
That was me
question.
grimacing there. So funny. But right, the world is going to be there.
Hmm.
Your love it or hate it, responsibilities are going to be there.
Hmm.
But at the same time, like you said, you recharge your phone, you recharge your iPad. You darn well better be. And for some of us, we recharge our cars.
Yes.
We darn well better be recharging ourselves so that
Yes.
we are prepared for another day of whatever the world throws at us.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I do. So, all right. Well, there you go, folks. Take it easy on yourselves. Give yourself a break.
Yes.
That's our homework. Only 16 minutes in, and we're talking homework.
And
So,
as you know, I like to say, be your own best friend.
thank you. And your own best friend, your best friend would turn to you and say, you don't need to be working this hard, or take it easy, or take a break, or let's go get a beer somewhere and whatever, or
Yep.
whatever adult beverage or food of your choice there. So yeah, I get it. I do. So for me, I have to, that's a good reminder for yours truly specifically, for Bill specifically, because I won't say I don't have a ton of friends. I have friends, but
Oh, yeah.
are any of them like an absolute positive best friend who's there for me all the time? Other than you, and we talk once a week and sometimes in between. Not really. So, I live by myself. I don't know. I don't have a dog to, remind me to go for a walk or whatever. I have to be my own best friend in that very important way. to
Oh,
say, all right,
absolutely.
am I taking care of myself? Am I getting a little sun? It's like, basically, and I think I said this many weeks ago. Some scientist once said, basically, you're just a house plant with feelings. You need sunshine and
Yeah,
nutrition and a little, whatever. And other than that, you're pretty good. But I need to do that. That's why I go and I sit out on my porch on my patio and I have my coffee in the morning or I have my dessert at night and I'll watch the world go by and I
yeah,
enjoy that. Or when I go play pickleball or whatever. So there you go. Yeah. So take care of yourself. Be your own best friend. Love that. Take care of
yes.
yourself and remind yourself if you have to
Hmm.
put up the post-it note thing. I know that's one of our favorite little tricks of the trade
Yes.
here. Put up a post-it note somewhere where you're going to see it, maybe more than one, in the car, on the bathroom mirror, in the kitchen, on the fridge magnet, whatever,
Yeah.
to be your own best friend. And what does that mean for you? All right, today we're going to go for a walk, or we're going to go out and just soak up some sunshine, or go play
Mhm.
pickleball if you're yours truly. So there you go.
Do something that you've been putting aside because you're taking care of everybody else. Go find it. Sit
Right,
down, relax, enjoy.
right,
And the one thing is stop feeling guilty. That's the
right.
other thing.
And
That's the
I
big
mentioned
one.
that's a huge one. I mentioned O'Neill's book. That was one of the exercises that was listed last in the chapter I read last night, which is get a piece of paper, sit down for 2 minutes without thinking about it. Again, it's almost an automatic writing thing. It's like I don't want to think in my brain. I just want to write whatever words come to me. I should finish the sentence, finish the sentence, finish the sentence for 2 minutes. I should. All right. Now, because we all know we don't want to be shoulding on ourselves,
No.
right?
Right?
Now, fine. Now, all right. Timer goes off 2 minutes. Great. Come back to the list and say, all right, of all those statements, which ones could you change to I could, and
Mm,
you would like that. That would be great for you. I should play more pickleball. I could play more pickleball. Oh, I like that. That sounds
yeah.
good. Right?
Right?
Or I should read more. I could read more and I'd like that. That'd be good. So I think his point is that's a way of filtering the things that we feel we should be doing. Again,
Yeah. Yeah.
I get it. There's some responsibilities. I get it. Should be doing versus could be doing or would want to do.
Hmm.
To me, that's an important distinction, and not enough people, I feel, not enough folks kind of take the time to think through that sort of thing. Just a
And
few.
that's a good point too, is what you're bringing up are words that we use with ourselves, words that we use with other people. They have a lot of power and they can empower someone or they can take somebody down.
Right.
And I feel because we're talking about ourselves, I feel that we're so good at tearing ourselves down that we forget that we can build ourselves up. We can empower ourselves with the language that we use, the words that we choose. So that's
Funny
another
you mentioned
part of
that.
this.
Yeah, funny you mentioned
Yeah.
that. I'm playing pickleball Saturday morning with my usual group. We have a senior citizens group here in town, so I might be the youngest guy in it. I'm not sure, but anyway, we have old folks playing pickleball. Love them all. We're not very good, but we have a good time and we laugh. But one of the ladies I'm playing with is like literally every time the ball is in her hand to serve, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna screw this up. Oh, I'm gonna mess this up. Oh, I'm gonna." I just finally turned to her and I went, "Will you be quiet?" I give you permission to not talk to yourself that way if you need it, or just hit the ball and put it out of your brain. This is not a thinking sport. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just have fun.
but what you were saying is exactly the case. And that is the way we talk to ourselves. And it's
Yeah.
not just in the fun things, in the pickleball things, it's in life.
Yes.
I'm a bad parent. I'm a bad spouse. I'm lousy at this job. Shut up. I mean, I don't have a better way to put it, but I don't know if it's one of those urban legend things or not. But for those of you into old kung fu movies, Bruce Lee was the man. Bruce Lee was like the kung fu
Mm.
king.
Yeah.
And he said, now again, feel free to email the show or post on the Facebook page and let me know that I just totally made this up out of thin air. but I'm not the first one to have seen it, so it came from somewhere. Bruce Lee said, you have to be careful with every word you speak about yourself. That's why they call it spelling. It casts a spell on you and those around you. And I'm like, okay, that's too clever
Oh,
to not be true, but
yes.
but it's literally the things you tell yourself are the things that you manifest in your life, which is our big fancy spiritual word for saying, if I'm thinking of buying a blue car, I'm going to see blue cars for the rest of the week, and that's all I'm going to see. So tell me
Absolutely.
the law of attraction doesn't work again, and I'll give you another crazy, stupid, simple example of the way it does. That's one of them. And my
That's true. What you put out comes back. So be
and
very
my old lady, yep,
careful.
my old lady friend playing pickleball telling herself that she can't do it is like, I, guaranteed she can't do it. Okay, I
Yeah, you're
get it.
gonna get it. Yep.
Why would you do that to why do people do that to themselves, Miss Vicki? Why do people do that to themselves?
Well, I think it comes from childhood is where we're expected to be perfect. We're expected to get good grades, be polite, do all these things. And I think a lot of pressure is put upon us, and we're too young to understand that, you know, adults are have little children in them too. So we're looking at these great big people thinking, oh, they must know everything, so I'm going to listen to them. But a lot of it is things that they grew up with that they're just projecting onto their children. So we grow up with this thinking, okay, well, maybe we're not smart enough, strong enough, blah, 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 is the average. Now, there's a lot of people out there that are, really good at, raising their kids to be really strong and loving and powerful. Unfortunately, I didn't have that, so it's been a struggle for me, and I'm
Right.
just being honest. So I believed that I wasn't enough for a very long time, and because that was projected on me, and I'm looking at these big people thinking, well, they know more than I do. And so at some point you got to stop and go, wait a minute, is that really true?
Mm.
Who am I? What do I do? How do I, give back to, the community? How do I, give back to, being the best person I can be so I can inspire other people? So I did therapy and I did a lot of hypnosis with a wonderful person. And just seeing it from that different perspective of I'm listening to somebody that I think knows everything versus what do I know? What do I feel? What is important to me? So when I stopped listening to, everybody's outside comments of what they thought about me and I went in and I looked at who I truly was, then I started to change and I started to look at, okay, what good am I bringing to the world? Who am I really? Why do people, some people respond to me like, they trust me and feel safe with me. And that was a biggie because when people started doing that, when I started doing my own work, being in my own business, was the awe of people listened to me, they trusted me, they were healing from the things that, we were collectively together were doing. And I think that's what really changed my life is when people were hearing me, people were
Hmm.
respecting me, and they were appreciating the work that I was doing with them. So I
Hmm.
think they helped me as much as I feel that I helped them.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I mean,
So,
I'm not sure, but I've heard that from other healers and coaches and people like that, that they say, every client brings something new to the table for me to look at about myself as well. And I
yeah,
totally believe that. I do. So
yeah.
yeah, that's as you continue to do your own work. And again, this is not, I don't want our listeners to think, well, that again, that's good for you guys because you're in that business. I'm not in that business. Vicki is in that business of the spiritual counseling and guiding and life coaching and all that. So, however, my point is you don't have to be in that business. You can be
Oh,
a force for good, to use the
yeah,
cliche, with anybody and everybody. I don't know if my friend, the old lady in the pickleball group, is going to change her attitude in one day over, stop telling yourself you can't make the shot. But maybe something will start to sink in over time as I'm with her and we play
yes,
together and I'm encouraging her and I'm, offering her positive reinforcement that she's
right.
not giving herself.
And yeah, and that's what it is when we give it out and we do it enough, people are going to start going, wait a minute, maybe there's something to this, maybe
Right.
let me give it a try. So
Right.
keep doing what you're doing, encouraging her and, kind of, being on her backside and going, okay, listen, that's enough. Let's switch this around here. We're done with that. And so
Right.
got to do that, and I'll do that to people like, and excuse me for saying this, but I'll just say to them, why are you still holding on to this? And I'll say BS,
Right.
but I'll make it the big word. And they
Right.
look at me and they're like, what? And
Right.
it's like, sometimes you got to shock them out of it to really get their attention.
Right.
And
Right.
that's a good thing.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
And I love the look they give me. It's like, oh my God, this old lady's cursing. It's like, are you kidding me? It's my second language. And laughter is one of the best medicines too, is
We've talked about
laughing.
it many times, and it is
Yeah,
so true if you can laugh about things, especially about yourself. Laugh, I
especially
mean,
about yourself. Yeah. And so this is maybe what that woman needs is say,
right.
you know what? Okay, so, why are you doing this over and over again? How boring is it getting? Or something like
Right.
that,
Right.
really shake them out of that because we
Right.
get so ingrained in what we've learned that sometimes it's so hard to, unlearn it. But if you're a little persistent and throw in a little sarcasm and a little cursing, it usually breaks it out.
I will. One quick story from our hero, Tony Robbins. Well, I don't
Oh,
know if
yes.
or not, but I mean, he's a name.
He's
He's
great.
a big
Yeah.
name in the business.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and I saw him on stage once talking about that, about how we feel about life. And he said, all right, everybody raise your hand. Who loves surprises? And everybody puts their hand up. You all love surprises. And he stops and he goes, that's, and I mean, he just, as strongly and as meanly as he could say, that's BS, full word, he said it. And everybody kind of, what? And he said, you like surprises that go the way you want them to go. If I surprise you with a car accident, maybe not so much, right? So, I mean, the point there is just to, be open, be curious, be available, and be thinking about, okay, what do I want? What do I really want? How does that work? What is it going to look like? All of that stuff. So anyway, long story long.
Absolutely.
Let's take a quick break.
Absolutely.
And I've actually been, we got on, we always do this. We get on a good conversation, but I did have something I want to talk about. Go
Okay.
refill your coffee or make your bathroom stop, and we will be right back. Welcome back. This is The Practical Path, the podcast for personal and spiritual growth. This is step number 14. I'm Bill Skladowski, and that is Vicki Wagner. And we always take a moment to introduce ourselves. And if somebody wanted to get in touch with you to talk about any of the things that we've talked about today, or for that matter, anything else, how would someone get in touch with you, please?
Well, they can call me at 239-248-0586 or email at Vicki, Vicki, Wagner, Wagoner, 53 at gmail.com.
And it doesn't matter if you make it a capital V, Vicki, or a small v. We had the email discussion before the program started. And I say that as a true and real live computer and iPhone geek. If you have questions about your technology, head on over to YouTube and do a search for Bill's iPhone tips. If you do the little hashtag thing, it'll come right up. But if you do a search for Bill's iPhone tips, you'll find it as well. So there you go. And I'm always helping folks with their technology. It's interesting. You help people with the inside stuff. I help people with the outside stuff. What's that all about? That's interesting.
Because we're a great team.
I think so. Yeah, I do.
I never thought of it that way, but you're right.
I just made it up. That's why.
I love it.
Right. And of course, as always, all of this will be in the show notes for this, wherever you get your podcasts from. Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube Music. We're on all those, and you can find all that information that we just shared to get in touch on the podcast show notes for each episode. So, as we record this, well, it doesn't matter when we record this. Yesterday, I got a phone call from my ex-wife, and Shout out to Paula. She's still wonderful and still good and still lives
Mhm.
in Fort Myers, Florida. So, and we're friends. So it's not like it's one of those crazy ex-wife, crazy ex-husband thing. We're still friends, all good. And and after 2 seconds of pleasantries, she said, I said, "You called me. I'm normally the one calling her, checking on after a hurricane or something." I said, "You called. That's a little weird. What's up?" And
Yeah.
she said, "Well, I just got a call from our old friend," and she named a name of a wife from a husband and wife. And I went, "I already know what's happening. Say the words." And she
Oh,
said, "Yes, your friend Richard passed, but
oh,
it was like 3, 4 months ago as we record
oh.
this. And the wife has just now kind of come out of her grieving, mourning, whatever it is, and has been able to start communicating with friends
Mm.
around the country to be able to share the story." And I said, "Tell me more." And she was on the, my ex Paula was on the phone with this lady. Her name's Jackie. No, doesn't matter. For a couple 3 hours to get the full story and to be supportive and to be, as comforting as one can be from 2,000 miles away and
Yeah.
3 months after the fact. Of course, yours truly was shaken, was,
Oh, yeah.
I feel I'm a couple of things. So this person, Richard, and it's funny,
Mhm.
we never called him Rick, like your husband Rick. We never
Yeah.
called him, Dick, which would be unfortunate, but in the old days that was used. His father was Dick, he was Richard. So anyway, Richard, always called him Richard. Um, he and I were absolute, positively inseparable best friends in high school in Cleveland.
Oh,
We played
yeah.
tennis together. We met we met in a high school gym class playing tennis, shooting archery, bow and arrow, all the fun stuff that you used to do in high school. um I went to college downstate in Ohio at Ohio University in Athens, not Ohio State. um he went to school, he was a genius with technology. He went to Case Western Reserve, which for anybody who knows in Ohio is like the MIT of the Midwest. Anyway, we reconnected. He and my brother, my 3 year younger brother, were the ones who were um, suffering through another Cleveland winter together while their friend Bill was in Fort Myers, Florida, enjoying the beach and the sun. Literally, the two of them pulled out a map of the United States, taped it to the garage wall, and threw a dart at it to figure out where they were moving to. And it landed close to Phoenix, Arizona. So, by God, my brother and my
Oh,
friend Richard packed their cars with whatever they could stuff into 2 cars at the time and drove to Phoenix and started new lives. Um,
wow.
yeah, I know. I know. Lived together
That's
for
a
a while, but
story.
then both ended up getting married and doing their own separate things, etc. So I lived in Phoenix for a while. In fact, I got there because of my brother. My brother's first marriage. I was best man, and he's like, "You got to come to Phoenix." So we went to Phoenix, and I ended up moving there. And my wife and I ended up living there for 7 years. Uh, at which time my friendship with Richard was renewed. We played tennis twice a week. We hung out, husband, wife, couples together,
Yeah.
had a lot of fun and all that. Um, and then when I ended up moving back to Florida, we kind of, as things always happen. I mean, not always. I shouldn't say always. You and I have been friends for 25 years, long distance or not. Maybe that's different. Maybe it was different back then because we didn't have the internet and we didn't have text messaging instantaneously, and you had to pick up a wired phone. Imagine that, kids. The phone was wired to the wall. How
Hmm.
strange.
And you
Um,
had to pay for the calls.
and you had to pay for the call.
Hmm.
I mean, that changed in that time where we had those fancy wireless phones with the antenna on them that you could walk
Oh,
around
yeah.
the house. You could walk around the house and not need to be wired to the wall. But anyway, let's get back to the story. He and I visited and talked a couple of times, not a lot. I mean, I ended up again, still back in married days, wife and I went back to Phoenix to visit some friends in many, many years ago. Of course, I've been divorced for almost 20 years now. So again, this is everything that you're hearing is 20 years ago. So again, when the news came that he had passed, it didn't hit me as hard as I thought it would. And yet now I find myself the day after, you kind of go through that thing where it's like, geez, oh whiz. And, I remember my father when he retired, and he was almost exactly my age of what I am now. He told me that he would mark the years by how many funerals he went to
Oh my
of
gosh.
friends. And well, I mean, it's that
Yeah.
age. And of
Yeah.
course, of my father's generation, they were all drinkers and smokers, and they didn't take the best care of themselves.
Oh yeah.
So, it's not like I'm devastated or crushed by this or whatever, but it's still an interesting and somewhat dark thing to go through. And
Oh,
yeah, and it's just, now, having said that, I also had a nice conversation with my ex about how she's doing, how her family is doing. She has a sister, and she's married and all. And the sister has been through all kinds of medical procedures for also. She was never in the best of health. But anyway, long story short, it was catching up on, well, so-and-so's had this operation and so-and-so's had this procedure. And I think I shared with you a few weeks ago how another friend of mine in Sarasota, a lady that I had been in a relationship with, she's going through a knee replacement. My
yeah.
neighbor here in my apartment where I live at Gainesville, there's a nice, beautiful elderly couple. Well, elderly, they're probably young 70s behind me in the apartment. She's just had a knee replacement. And I was talking to her husband literally 3 days ago. And he's like, oh, well, they screwed up the knee replacement. They shattered a bone. So now they have a plate in there holding everything together. And I'm like, all I'm hearing, so here's the bottom line. All I'm
Okay.
hearing for the past 2 weeks is how people's lives are changing, not necessarily
Yes.
for the better.
Oof.
And I think I'm having some kind of survivor's guilt or something like that. You know what they say? Like, if it's a real thing, like you're the only person to survive the plane crash, you're now, obviously I'm not having people die left and right around me. I'm one or two,
Yeah. Oh,
but
sad.
I'm also hearing of people going through these changes in life when they're getting old and parts are breaking and need replacing.
Oh boy, I
Or,
don't know anything about that.
right, my friend, right?
Oh,
And I'm on the phone with an old college roommate in Texas, and he's telling me how he spent X number of days in the hospital with that disease that kept us all in the house a couple of years ago, whatever.
yeah.
And I sit on the couch and I watch my football game and I enjoy my popcorn. And I'm like, I am either, no, not either. I am the most freakingly blessed human being I know. And it feels
Okay.
weird.
Why don't you say thank you?
I do. But trust me, Miss Vicki. Every night I get into bed, I turn the lights off, and while I have a little white noise music playing in the background to help me get off to sleep, I am saying thank you, thank you, thank you, like there is no tomorrow.
Absolutely.
I am.
Hmm.
It doesn't make it any less weird.
Oh, no,
It
it's
does.
weird. It's
It's
like,
weird. It's
yeah.
weird.
Oh, yeah.
And you and I talked about this off the air. I'm meeting with a guy and your husband introduced me to talk about not Social Security, to talk about Medicare insurance.
Right.
And on the phone conversation last week he's asking me about, what do you do, what drugs do you take, what prescriptions, what have you done, I said, listen, I'm going to be a terrible customer, and here's why. I know nothing about this Medicare supplement of which you speak, because I can count on 2 fingers the times I have used it in 3 years. And they're both to the same eye doctor, and I have a follow-up appointment with him this week. So I'll do it again. I
Yep.
take 0 prescriptions. I take no drugs. I take my vitamin C every day.
Oh, definitely.
And
Yep.
I'm not here. I hear myself tooting my own horn, and I'm not trying to do that. I think I'm trying to get back to that feeling of what do you do with that? Where, and I told this to my ex last night after she told me a couple of other things. I said, where do you put that in your head, in your psyche? What do you do with that? And I guess for the moment, it's just I've been ranting now for 10 minutes. I apologize, but I just
Oh.
feel as though I, there's the world out there, and then there's what Bill is doing, and the two aren't even close to each other.
Why don't you get a gratitude box?
There you go. Right? Right?
Yes.
Get a
Yeah.
little box. Get a little
Okay. Get a little
I'm
box.
holding up my little bin here of stuff.
Yeah.
And all right, so how does that work? Tell us, coach. How does the gratitude box work?
I'm 72. Other
Right?
than I've got, obviously a new shoulder.
Right. And that's
And that
fine.
was by an accident from years ago. I don't, you know what I take every morning? Vitamins.
Right, me too.
That's it. I
Me
take
too.
vitamins. And every morning I go, oh, thank goodness I'm still just taking vitamins. I'm healthier than a lot of people. And I say, thank you.
Right.
I'm
Right.
grateful. So why are you questioning that you are one of the chosen ones, that you're extremely healthy
Because
and you're feeling guilty?
well said. Why the cho
I mean,
I feel like Neo from the Matrix. He is the chosen one.
right.
Yeah, okay. I get it. No, it's just that mixed bag of feelings, emotions, thoughts, whatever. You're right. I'm grateful beyond measure, thankful beyond anything. And I look around and I'm like, I don't think I did anything to deserve this. I don't think maybe
Oh,
that. So, oh, I just said the word, didn't
oh,
I? Okay. Yeah. I saw your face. I
oh,
said the
good.
word deserve.
Yes.
Talk about that.
That's your karma. What do you put out? You put out a lot of good energy. You put out a lot of good information. You're always been, a good friend to everybody. I mean, and I know that after 25 plus years.
Right.
And so you're putting all this good energy out. What do you think you're getting back?
Right.
The
Right.
same thing. We just talked about that, what, 10 minutes ago?
Yep. Yep.
So I'm questioning, why are you feeling guilty about being healthy versus feeling grateful that you're healthy and you're there for someone else if they need it? That's how I look at it. I feel I'm healthy enough that I can go help somebody. Obviously, with my shoulder, I got to be really
Right.
careful, but I'm still
Right.
available to
Right.
be there, to support them, to encourage them, to be, a cheerleader for them. And that's how
Right.
I look at it. And I'm
And again,
thankful
yeah.
that I'm like this. So
Yes.
where in your childhood, and I'm putting, I'm literally pointing a finger at you through the,
Yes, she is
my finger, how I'm
through
pointing
the
at people
through the camera.
through the camera. Go back, where at what point did you think, oh gosh, I've got all this and I feel bad?
I well, off the tip of my brain right now, I can't think of anything, but it's a great topic for a sit down little just bit of meditation or whatever you want to call it. I
Right.
think people get caught up in meditation. Ooh, that sounds woo woo, whatever. All right, just sit on the couch with your cup of coffee, turn on a little soft music, close your eyes and think about these things, or
Okay.
better yet,
Feel,
feel, better
feel.
yet, try not, well, don't try. Don't, as Master Yoda always used to say, do or do not. There is no try.
Exactly.
It's not a matter of trying to think or feel or not think or feel something, but just see what comes. What do you
Yeah.
feel coming to you? Okay. So you've now, all right. So thank you for the coaching. So now let's back to the show.
No, this is important because this is all in line of everything that we're talking about, is that we carry things with us that we think we should be carrying. I should be carrying this guilt. I should be carrying, all
Right.
this. Why? Excuse me, but I'm going to say it. It's bullshit.
It is. It is. And you're fine to say it. Um, it is bullshit. And I, at the moment, can't put my finger on where it may have come from. Now, I choose to, remember we were just talking, I should versus choose. I choose to take some time as soon as we're done recording this show and to give it a little bit of marination or whatever it needs to see what comes up. And I believe that I have a memory or two of my father, telling me how hard life is and all of that BS that parents
Mhm.
told kids. They
Yes.
were
And
trying
this
to
is, and
instill
again,
something in them. Yeah.
right. And again, we look up and we go, oh, these are big people.
Right.
These big people have little kids inside of them that they're operating with. And those, our parents at that time
Right.
didn't have all the wisdom and all the, the internet and all, things that were available to us right at our fingertips that we can gain knowledge from.
Right. Right.
And
Now,
that's the beauty of all this, and I'm not really a technical person, but there is a lot of beauty in that it's right here. And it's,
there can also be, and I don't want to, and I agree with you 110%, but I also want to say there can be so much that sometimes it generates confusion.
oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's up
definitely.
to you, and by you, I mean Bill and Vicki and all our listeners. It's up
Mhm.
to you, us, to have some discernment to say, yes,
Oh,
this speaks to me, this does not, this makes sense
yes.
to me, this does not. So,
Mhm.
it's like, I mean, if you watch TV for an hour this week, as we record this, it's just before the election. So, you're going to
Oh,
see
yeah.
this guy is terrible. This lady is terrible. They can
Yeah.
both be right, I suppose, but I
Yes.
don't, yeah, never mind. I don't, politics is the last thing I want to talk about. But yes. So what is it? And okay, so assuming or not assuming, I'm going to do what you talk about. I'm going to take a few minutes, I'm going to sit and I'm going to relax and see what comes as far as that.
Right.
If and when something does come up, or even if it doesn't, but I'm assuming that something might,
It will.
what do you do with that? How is that integrated into you so that you have a better, you feel better about yourself moving forward?
Well, first of all, you got to give yourself permission to feel whatever you need to feel. If it's, feeling happy or anger or sadness, whatever, be okay to feel that first and get that out. And then just question, does this resonate with me? Does it feel
Mhm.
good to me? Is it making sense? And be okay. If it does, it's wonderful. If not, well, then go a little bit deeper. Another way to do it too is to write about it. When you write about things and just let your, like automatic writing, just let whatever you're feeling just come out,
Right.
and then look at it after and go, oh, okay, well, this feels right to me, or, maybe I need to dig a little bit deeper. Yeah, it's looking at it, the courage, the love, the respect, the honoring that you're having for yourself, which is the most important, is that you're taking time from your day. We all feel it. We got all these 10,000 things we got to do, that you're being with yourself, loving yourself, respecting yourself, honoring yourself. And that's one of the most important things, is that you're stopping everything to be with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's okay to question, what beliefs have I been holding on to that maybe were somebody else's, that you were too little to understand. This is their feelings that they're projecting onto you. And you have the courage to look at it and go, you know, I appreciate the person doing this, but I'm old enough and wise enough and love and respect myself enough to say, this isn't fitting anymore. What can I do? So that leaves you open to exploring what feels right for me and trying different things. I don't know. I hope that answers the question,
Yeah,
but
no, it's a good start. It is. And because I mean, really, in this case, there's no action that needs to be done. I don't need to get more motivation to do a job or to be in a relationship or whatever, because it's all about me and how I feel about
right,
myself and my relationship to the world.
right. Yeah,
So that makes it, well, it makes it different. I was going to say easier, but it doesn't make it any easier. It just makes it different.
it's different.
It is different because again, I've been obviously, not obviously, but what you say seems to make sense, that somebody told me something somewhere that I believed it. And now when I have a different experience, and again, not right, not wrong, I'm having a different experience from the one I was told I would have.
Right.
If let's just go with that idea that I was told by by my father, by my father, that life's hard, it's a lot of work, and then you die or whatever,
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying that's 100% correct, but I'm just throwing it out there as what might be.
Right.
So, if I'm having a different experience from what he told me, so there's a little bit of the fancy psychological word is cognitive dissonance.
Ooh.
I know, right? Fancy word. It just means that there's a disagreement going on in my brain. You were
Right.
told this, but you're having this experience. Oh, wait a minute. The two can't be the two cannot be the two cannot be true at the same time. Not in this case. There's a lot of cases in life where two weird things can be true at the same time. This is not one of them.
Right.
Not because it's my experience. It's Bill having an experience of life.
Right.
And in this life that he's living right now at this time, he is having this experience of health and well-being and whatever that he was told it's not going to be like that.
Right. Yeah.
But it is. Surprise.
Yeah.
So you're right in terms of, to go back to your idea of gratitude, of being thankful.
Yes.
Of
You
whatever.
have another day.
Right. And I feel for a lot of people that you can have that gratitude, you can have that thankfulness for whatever situation you're in. I'm not saying you have to have a fabulous, great life, lottery winner or whatever. No, you can be thankful and grateful for what you have. And as you do that, we believe, well, I don't want to speak for you. I believe that as you do that, that your life will improve in some way, in some noticeable way for you.
Absolutely. And when it's for you, just think that energy goes out and you're sharing it with millions of people you're never going to meet.
Right.
And that sense of gratitude, it's very unfortunate that your friend passed away, yet that could have been part of his karma,
Right.
their choice. And so honoring that, well, you must have felt this is when you needed to leave, and love and respect that that's what his journey was. And then being grateful, I have another day.
Right.
And what are you going to do with it?
Because that to me is yes. See, 5 minutes left to go in the hour, and you've hit upon, I think, one of the more important points, and that is, what am I going to do with it?
What are you going to do with it? It's a
wake-up call. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. I'm great. Terrific. I have another day. I have hopefully many more days.
Yes.
I don't know that. None of us are guaranteed the next breath, as they say. But the way things are going, I kind of probably have a few more days ahead of me. Good. What are you going to do with it? What are you going
to do with it? Well, just real quick, many years ago, I was told that I had a stroke, and I go, well, I don't think that I did. And well, if the doctor goes, well, that's what you believe. And I said, yes, I do. And he goes, well, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to live my life.
Right.
I'm going to enjoy it.
Right.
And when I go, I'm going to be full.
Right.
And it's like, I showed no signs of it, but I think mentally I was under so much stress.
Right.
So what are you going to do with, I'm sorry that, your friend, passed away, very much so. Anyone that passes away, especially young,
right.
Anybody under 70 is young to me. But what are you going to do with that energy, and how can you, grace your friend and support your friend in his journey that he's going home, as I call it, that you can live a full life and maybe bring his energy with you. Go, hey, you didn't have this, but hey, let's go for a walk.
Right.
They're there. The energy is there. It's giving me major goosebumps all the way down my whole body because your friend is still here energetically.
Sure. And I do that with my brother, who's been gone for 10 years. I do that with all the time, especially in the car. He loved to drive. So I get that. I do that you can keep that memory alive, keep that energy going, keep all of that. Yeah. And integrate that user for yourself.
Right. So what you're doing for you, you're doing for him, you're doing for your friend, you're doing, again, millions of people you're never going to meet. And that's the greatest gift you can give. And what people do with it, that's up to them. Yet be proud of yourself that you are sharing it. And that's the greatest gift.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if pride is the right word, but I understand. And we don't need to mince that words at that level, but I get it. I do, you know,
I
and,
think you should. You should be
right,
proud of yourself that you are shift your perspective on it, and
right,
now you're sharing it
right.
and inspiring other people to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no, the what are you doing about it, I think is
Mhm.
the key to a lot of the things that we talk about on this show across 15 episodes now, and with,
Mhm.
who knows how many more to come, a lot. That yes, and as my friend, shout out to my old buddy Dr. Ed there, maybe you'd like to make a different decision.
Yes.
One of my favorite lines of all time.
Mhm.
Not that what you were doing was wrong, not that this one is something
Yep.
crazy better,
Mhm.
different. Maybe you'd like to make a different decision.
Yeah.
If as you go through life, and I'm talking again to all of us, all of our,
Right.
you, me, listeners, everybody, as you go through life, you have those opportunities pretty much every day to make
Oh,
a different decision. And what are you going? And then the follow up, of course, is having done that, having made that different decision, what are you going to do to implement, manifest, bring it to life, whatever in your own life? And how is
mhm.
that going to work moving forward from today? Like you said, the doctor tells you one thing, you say, no, that's okay. And the doctor says, what are you going to do? I'm going to go live my life. Thanks.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And here I am.
And here you is.
Yeah.
So, and I think that applies to all of us because, again, whatever the change is that you're going through, whether it's an external one, an internal one, a feeling, a belief, or whatever, you're making a different decision. That's good, but it's only the first step, because the
Yep.
next step then is, now what?
Action.
Action. It's
Putting
always action.
into action.
That's
Mhm.
karma, right? Action.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Isn't that what karma even means? I don't remember. I don't remember. Anyway, so okay, I feel like I've run a marathon here. Okay, wait a minute. I'm going to just sit back and breathe for a minute. Wow. Okay. And here we are and it's been an hour. And once again, I feel like I could talk for another 2 hours, but maybe we'll
I
just
know.
continue next week. Who knows? So, final thoughts on that if you choose. If not, that's okay too.
I feel just be grateful you woke up in the morning. You're healthy. You've got a place to live. You've got food on the table. You've got friends. You've got, your brain, your memory. Just live today.
Just live today.
Enjoy it.
That's for everybody. Just live
You
today.
make the best of your day.
Yeah, and I've heard, and I don't want to go into that whole thinking about the future or worried about the future, thinking about the past, because that's a whole other thing for a whole other show. But you're right. Just do today. Just do
Do
today
today.
as good as you can, and you'll be fine.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Miss Vicki, if anybody would like to get in touch with you, how would they do that, please?
Well, again, they can call me at 239-248-0586 or email me at Vicki, Vicki, Wagoner, Wagoner 53 @gmail.com.
And again, for yours truly, you can find Bill at on YouTube is the easiest place. Bill's iPhone tips on YouTube, the easiest place to find my little help with your various technology gizmos and stuff like that. So all good. Thinking of starting some new stuff on that, so be on the lookout. Well, you'll hear about it here first, as they say. As
Okay.
always, my friend, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great week, everybody. We'll talk to you again next week. I'm Bill Sklodowski.
And I'm Vicki Wagner. And thank you again for joining us.